Byron Henry joins us right now, legal expert. He's a friend of our show and a friend of Chris's show.
Exactly. I want to know, I guess judges are more powerful than the president.
It's starting to sound more and more like it.
Yeah.
We're seeing the Texas now Senate already approving a sanctuary cities legislation bill. We're seeing the House now going to take it up that would not only cut funding to Texas cities and counties and universities that don't enforce federal immigration laws, but it could also put people in jail, officials who are part of that.
Yeah.
But before that even takes place in the Texas House, we see a federal judge on Tuesday block what the Trump administration was trying to do from a federal level, enforcing a threat to take away funds from these sanctuary cities. And that's a valid question that Byron Henry can answer. We see this judge in Santa Clara County, Byron, say, no, you can't do that. That a threat to take away federal funds from a city that doesn't cooperate is unconstitutional. On the basis of what, Byron?
Well, I think Trump is having some difficulty, to say the least, with the federal courts. I think he struck out many times. I'm wondering if somebody's going to get an injunction prohibiting him from even entering the White House one of these days. You wonder what he's going to be able to do as president, with judges signing more temporary injunctions than he can sign executive orders. But the bottom line is that there's two things at play here. One is the judge probably has a little bit better footing and legal grounding than the travel ban orders. Those were sort of unprecedented by the courts because that dealt with immigration and that also dealt with national security. So those were a little bit, I believe, stepping outside the bounds of what the federal court should have done. But on this one, it's more of an internal separation of powers. And what the court said is, if Congress appropriates money to a city and doesn't put conditions on it, the president can't add his own conditions and basically alter the law, which is probably pretty solid. Now, what it doesn't say is that for discretionary money that runs through the Department of Justice, in other words, law enforcement grants that the department gets to decide who gets the money, those, the executive branch and the Department of Justice, still have the discretion, obviously, to withhold money from a city that doesn't cooperate. Obviously, if you're applying for a grant and it's discretionary money, and one of the things on your application is, by the way, we don't agree with federal law and we're not going to cooperate with the feds, you're probably not going to get that grant. So if Congress has appropriated money directly and put no conditions on it, the president can't put conditions on it. But if the Justice Department and Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, and the president have discretion, they're free to exercise that discretion and not give money to cities that refuse to enforce or cooperate with the federal government.
You know, for me, the bottom line sounds like it's just hostage holding money. You know, you do what we say, you're not going to get this money. Now, it's federal money, and they can dictate that. The states or the cities, they don't have. I guess they can go their own way and waive that off if they'd like to. But I guess the feds, they have every right in the world to hold it back, don't they?
Well, certainly, if Congress has not delegated money to go to cities directly with no conditions, you know, as I said, the president can't add conditions to a congressional law with respect to money, but certainly any discretion within the federal government, yes, they can withhold the money. If it's discretionary or they have any say in who gets the money, obviously cities that cooperate with the federal government are going to get the money and grant money and law enforcement grants before cities that defy the federal government. And if you remember, there was a letter sent. It's only, at least at this point, there's only 9 cities that a letter has been sent to that they have designated as sanctuary cities that this would even affect at this point. That doesn't mean there's not others. So right now it's a very limited number of cities that would have been affected. And I think what President Trump is doing and what the government argued in this to this federal judge is that President Trump is using the bully pulpit to try to get cities to comply and help the federal government enforce federal immigration law. Cities can go their own way, states can go their own way, but they do so at their own risk of jeopardizing funds and other assistance from the federal government.
All right, Byron Henry joins us here on the Chris Salcedo Show. How much money are we talking about here? Let's talk on the money that's been delegated by Congress that's not earmarked specifically for anything, that has no constraints on it. How much are we talking there? And then on the other side, the grants that could be restricted. How much are we talking? We're not talking about a lot of money there, are we?
Well, we're probably talking about total in the budget, tens of millions for cities Congress has appropriated for law enforcement purposes, and probably only in the millions, hundreds of thousands and millions per grant for certain cities. And as I said, it's only about 9 cities that would be in jeopardy at this point if the federal judge's order hadn't gone into effect. Assuming President Trump could enforce his executive order, it would only have been 8 or 9 cities that would have been affected at this point. So we're probably talking about in the single-digit millions of dollars total for those cities in law enforcement grants. But let me tell you, a lot of these cities rely on federal government money to make their budgets. with respect to law enforcement. So this is going to be an ongoing issue going forward as cities and states look to trim their budgets and get help from the federal government. Any lost funds, hundreds of thousands or millions from the federal government, could affect the city's bottom line with respect to paying police and other essential services. So they're going to have to be really careful tempting the executive branch, the Attorney General, and the President with respect to defying them on these executive orders.
All right, let's personalize this. Let's localize this. I know we got just a couple of minutes with you, Byron. Real fast. In the state of Texas, now the House has taken up this Senate bill that would allow the state of Texas to do this, to cut funding, essentially law enforcement grants. And we've seen that come up here in the city of Dallas. Those grants being taken away are cut by the state of Texas. This ruling from the federal judge does not apply to that, though, right?
That's correct. If the state of Texas wants to allocate its money towards cities that are assisting the state and federal government in enforcing immigration law, that's the state's prerogative. This only deals with money that has basically been sent from the states to the federal government, sloshed around there in the bureaucracy up in Washington, and part of it's coming back to the states in the form of allocations or grants. That money is the only money affected. If the state wants to zero out certain cities or make them ineligible to apply for certain grants at the state level, this order does not affect the state's ability to do that.
All right, Byron Henry, we always appreciate the time and the insight there. We'll keep our eye on this one. I think it's interesting. The federal judge there, the judge who made that ruling yesterday, Hal, saying, "Hey, listen, if the money hasn't been earmarked or stipulated that there are restrictions on it, the president can't add restrictions. If Congress gives the states and the cities money, and there's no restrictions on it, the president can't come back and add restrictions to it." And I think that judge is right there.
Well, I hope it is. To be honest with you, I hope it is right, because I don't want to take away from law enforcement in Dallas, wherever.
But the state of Texas is going to do that with this new legislation.
Yeah,
they're going to do. If you're not cooperating with the feds, they're going to take money away from you, Dallas.